Hi, welcome to Mountain Gym Card Collectibles. So, I'm still a non-monetized channel. I've been doing this, for, we're creeping up on, a year and a half, 2 years, with this channel. I did have another channel that was going on for, maybe half a year. So, I've been doing this for a while, but I'm still not monetized. And why is that? Well, we live in the USA. Sports card enthusiasts have gone out of their way to not respect me. And why is that? Why do you believe I'm not respected in the sports card community, huh? Well, let's be honest here. I don't know the right people, I'm not doing shows with all the big gurus that you all love, like Sports Card Dad or Neo or Sports Card Investor. And that's why I'm focusing on this Bam Adebayo record today. Because let's face it, if anyone has been thrown in the same boat as me, it would be Bam Adebayo, He's in there with Barry Bonds, And, I really like Barry Bonds. I always like watching him hit home runs. I like the fact he holds the home run record. But let's face it, a lot of Americans hate that fact. And I got to witness it, when I was watching him play, A lot of Americans seem to feel like when a person breaks a record in sports, that it should be, I guess, put up in concrete or cement. And why is that? Well, it just goes to entitlement. Let's face it, America is an entitlement culture, You have to be entitled. You have to know someone famous. You have to come from a famous family. It's all about origin. And if you don't fit in with that, well, you're going to be someone just like Bam Adebayo. Or possibly even my poor channel here, that gets kicked around constantly. I get a lot of views, but I get it. People are going out of their way to not subscribe to my channel. Because that's the message they want to send me. Okay? That's fine. I accept that. I have lived an entire life of that, Like I said, it's all about origin. Okay, so I know that there's a lot of people who want to, trash talk Bam Adebayo at this point in time for daring to poke the bear, which would be Kobe Bryant's record, okay? And that's what he did. And I thought a lot of people would be celebrating this fact, No. Why aren't they? Well, he's not Kobe Bryant. He's not Michael Jordan. He's not Wemby. He's not someone who the media has hyped up. Because let's face it, Americans worship people who the media hypes up. And that really has never been Bam Adebayo. So what does he get for breaking the record? He gets endless amounts of hatred from the American public. Yay! But, that's America. I am 51 years old. I've never been married. And I likely will never be married, And I've been told why not, Oh, I'm a loser, I've been told by women, how they're looking for men who have these big families or men who have big wealthy families. That's not me. Same reason I don't have a monetized YouTube channel. Same reason that I go job hunting day in and day out and I am not getting hired. Why? Probably because of my gray hair, this and that. Listen, there's just people in this world, including me, that no matter what we achieve, we will always be swept into the gutter and told that we aren't good enough, And that's what I've seen about this record, And they want to compare this to a high school game, of all things, Give me a break. I've never seen a high school game that has 279 points on the game like this game. I mean, the Wizards had 129 points. The Heat had 150. I don't know what was going on with the defense in this game. But let's face it, that's a lot of points, And to have Bam Adebayo, break the record, with 83 points. Yeah, that's a big achievement. People should be celebrating that. I don't know why they're not. Well, actually, I do know why they're not. He's not entitled. Even Barry Bonds wasn't entitled enough, And what What bear did Barry Bonds poke? The Babe Ruth bear. How dare you poke the Babe Ruth bear? You know, he's a big symbol of the USA. White America. Now, I don't have a problem with that. I like Babe Ruth, okay? He's one of my favorite baseball players. But I like to see records be broken, all right? You know? And I just don't understand why Americans don't like to see records be broken. They have all the reasons and excuses to hate on somebody over giving them respect, okay? So, I decided to check out eBay. Why not? Let's see if his stuff is selling, Well, we know that Wemby's cards are pretty much going for about $2,000, And I've been watching Wemby play. I like watching Wemby play. But, I would have liked to have watched this game. I didn't get to watch this game, okay? It didn't happen for me. But I would have enjoyed watching this game. So, let's face it. People are really starting to buy his cards. This one was sold today on March 12th, 2026 for $499. We have this one that was sold. This is a PSA 10. Nice card, Panini Stats freshman signatures. $900. The rated rookie auto for $300. It may be the time to purchase this card right now. $295 for this one with 51 bids. You'd figure it would have gone more, But we know why it didn't. Here's a 2017 Impeccable. Nice auto, $800, PSA 10, $800, that's it. Another nice rookie auto, PSA 9 for $154.49. So it may be the time, to cash in and, purchase Bam Adebayo. But the thing you're going to be up against is the American public and the American media. And overall, what I've gotten from the American public and the American media is they just do not like this. They feel like this was a disrespect towards Kobe Bryant, all right? But I also don't understand that theory, Sports is sports. If Kobe Bryant was alive, I'm sure he'd be celebrating this just like Michael Jordan did, Michael Jordan congratulated Bam Adebayo. I have to give Michael Jordan credit there, That's the respectful thing to do. That's what all Americans should be doing, but it's not working out that way. All right. So then we come to this post, and people are really weighing in on this post for one reason or another. I ran across another one from Skip Bayless, but this one, people are just tearing into for one reason or another. Comes from Terrence Ross. I'm convinced if Wemby scored 83 points in the same exact fashion, y'all would be praising him. But because Bam isn't known for scoring, you guys are just hating on him. If you get into Bam Adebayo, he has been to, numerous All-Star games. He has a lot of good credentials, He really does. I'm just surprised that people don't even want to give him credit there. So anyway, let's read what people are saying about this. So here's one. Yeah, 23 more free throw attempts and 9 more threes while flopping an entire quarter is so awesome. This was a joke. The NBA should be embarrassed. Really? He broke a record. Oh. You see, that's what always comes to is, but he didn't do it exactly the way Kobe Bryant did it, Same reason why somebody would just not, subscribe to this channel. It's always something. It's not Neil's channel. It's not Sports Card Dad's channel. It's not, Jeff Wilson's big channel. Wemby would have sat out in the fourth because he has respect for the game. The only way stat hunting like that would be accepted is if the blowout was in the other direction, like when Booker scored 70. I didn't really think it was that big of a blowout. That's a lot of points up on the board, It really is. But that just goes with the fact that people will refuse to respect him. It doesn't matter what he does, He doesn't have the same media hype as, say, Wemby does, If Spurs are up by 30 and they start intentionally fouling so Wemby gets more possession to score points or missing free throws on purpose for Wemby to get more points, I would give the same criticism. That's the thing, Terrence. For me, it's not even about the free throw attempts or Spo keeping him in the game. It's about what I described above. Yeah, it's about not respecting the players. What it's about. Wemby wouldn't do that same lame ass shit, and the Spurs wouldn't risk him playing meaningless basketball. Whatever. So random. Imagine waking up on a random Thursday morning. The first thing you think about is Victor Wembanyama. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Sports card guys, sports fans, they have their man crushes on their men. You know, just like women have crushes on men. And God forbid, you know, something happens to where that man doesn't look as good as he used to, you know. Like, let's face it, what does this do for Kobe Bryant's legacy? Well, he doesn't look as good as he used to, you know. And all the men who have their crush on Kobe, they're pissed off about it, you know. Anybody, and I mean anybody in the league, or at least 75% of the league can do what Bam did if they didn't sit out in the fourths. Kobe sat out with 63 in the third quarter. Pat Riley himself said, I'd sit you out at 70 because they were up 30. Lakers were down 25 when Kobe dropped 81. Yeah. I like this. Anybody? Man. Okay. How about we let Shaquille O'Neal attempt this feat? Oh, yeah. He's always missing those free throws. You know, I used to be a center. I was missing a lot of free throws, too. That's what I don't get is free throws are tough to make. Oh, but all of a sudden now free throws are just, easiest thing you can do. Give me a break. What do men love about sports? Media hype, okay? There was a lot of media hype prior to Michael Jordan entering the NBA, you know, in the early 80s, you know. They were hyping up Jordan in 83. You know, I even kind of remember him talking about Jordan in 82, you know. If you don't have the media hype, everyone's just going to spit on you. And that's the problem with living in the USA, you know. It's all about origin. And if you don't have that proper origin, you know, it doesn't matter what you achieve. America will go out of their way to celebrate you as a loser nonetheless, you know. And I've always scratched my head on why does it have to be that way in America, you know? Why can't they just treat people with respect who deserve it? Like, say, Bam Adebayo. No, they just can't do it. They couldn't do it for Barry Bonds either, you know. I still see people just spitting on Barry Bonds, you know. And we all know why. When you poke the bear, that happens to be a big, important, you know, symbol of America, and you beat the record, and you don't have a big media hyped name, well, guess what? You're just trash, you know, in this world. I feel the same way. I mean, you know, as someone who's 51, who's been told numerous times, you know, by women why I don't live up to their standards, you know, this and that, you know, it typically has everything to do with origin. You know, I don't come from a wealthy enough family or a big enough family or this and that, you know. Well, it is what it is, you know. America is kind of a shit show in that respect. Wemby, Kobe, LeBron, Kareem, Trae Young, Luka, Giannis, brother, etc. It has zero to do with Bam and 100% how the fourth quarter went down. Y'all got to chill, acting like y'all didn't witness this. You still got 83, but let's not act like we didn't witness that clown shit. You see? They just have to disrespect him, you know. Disrespect. Exactly. Just mad that it was Bam to do it because it was something nobody would have expected to do if it was going to be done. Yeah. It has everything to do with media hype. You know, if you don't have enough media hype, you may as well just pick up and move out of the USA. I've thought about it myself. I'm just like, I don't come from a famous family. I don't come from a wealthy family. And all I've gotten in my life is, you know, eating a bunch of shit because of that fact. You know, that's what America likes to serve up on a platter is, oh, well, you don't come from the right origin, you know. You don't have a good enough job. You don't have a good enough family. You're not good enough for this. You're not good enough for that. If Jordan got 83 that same way, it'd still be an issue. Don't matter who it was. That's the part y'all missing. Bam, not even really the problem. The problem is the NBA turned into a gimmick where the integrity of the game gets thrown out for a full quarter, basically. Shit's sad. I don't get that, you know. A record was broken, you know. You know, and that's just it. Everything's broken here, because this record was broken. Because Adebayo dared to poke the Kobe Bryant bear, Oh, the NBA is broken. Oh, everything's broken. It was too many free throws. It's too much that, too much this. Anything to disrespect the fact that he just beat Kobe Bryant's record. A lot of people just don't want to accept it. See? Wrong. We're hating because Bam used the last quarter of the game to pass Kobe by cheating the game. Up by 25, shooting free throws. It's unethical basketball, and really? I like to see Shaquille O'Neal pull that off, man. Because we all know how rotten he was on free throws. So, the reality is, I can keep going down here. There's some people sticking up for Bam. Most people are just trashing him in this post, They won't trash Wemby because he's one of the media's favorite guys, He really is. He's even from France, Bam Adebayo, he's from North Carolina. Time to trash on him some more. Why is that? Origin. It's all about origin. It has everything to do with origin for sports cards. It has everything to do with origin for everything in the USA. I mean, why can't we respect Barry Bonds, Why can't we put him in, the Baseball Hall of Fame, Because he dared to poke the bear, It's just like Bam Adebayo. So they will go out of their way to disrespect him and destroy his legacy because of it. Welcome to the USA. So I'm not surprised. I just feel like, it kind of makes chasing sports cards into a joke because they don't really respect the players that are doing, the records, The fan base of the NBA is the same way. Let's face it, they only respect people who the media hypes up. They'll sit there and say, oh, the fourth quarter this, blah, 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 because he hit all these free throws. Free throws are not easy to make. And people who are pretending that free throws are easy to make are bullshitting you, And we get so much of that in this hobby, So anyway, how do you feel about this? Are you chasing Bam Adebayo's card? Or are you just kind of playing it for what it is, like many Americans? How dare he poke the bear? He didn't do it the way Kobe Bryant did it. He's not Kobe Bryant. He's not Kobe Bryant's twin, which I just think is a joke, And how do you feel about, the media hype, the origin stories? If you don't have the proper origin in America, you may as well just pack up your bags. It doesn't matter what you achieve. You're still just going to be treated like garbage and trash by the American public in general. How do you feel about that? Anyway, I'd like to thank my subscribers. You're the only reason I do this. I'd like to thank my viewers as well. If you could give me some thumbs up, that would really help me out. And, if you could subscribe as a viewer, that would help me out as well. So hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.